Hey all, Dipro here from the Monday team. Today you're gonna see an extended cut of me live coding an app from start to finish. It is a long video and you are gonna see some twists and turns along the way. I did make some silly mistakes, but if you stick through it, you'll see what you can achieve with just a couple of hours building with the Monday Apps framework, and more importantly, you'll also see how to troubleshoot any issues if you encounter them along the way. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is clone our example code. This is super straightforward. I'm gonna put the link to the repository in the video description. I'm just gonna grab this link and then in my code editor, I am going to just run git clone. Now the repo that you have is gonna have a few different sample apps inside of it. Some more relevant than others. In this case, we are using the CRM risk assessment app right here. So that the CRM risk assessment view, so this is going to be inside of the folder. So let's just change our directory to go there. All right. So before you get started, you do need to initialize the repository, initialize the sample code so that it runs correctly. And you also need to create an app inside of Monday. So we're going to quickly do that. We're gonna run npm run install just to install the dependencies. While that's happening, go ahead and grab your API token from the developer center. You can just click on my access tokens, copy that over, and then once this is done, we're gonna run npm run init and add our API token. This is going to create a maps.rc file inside of our app so that the CLI can authenticate with Monday. Once we do that, we can just run npm run start. And now let's go back to the Monday Developer Center. If you don't already have an app set up, you can just create one quickly. I'm going to call this my CRM risk assessment app. Give your app a descriptive name just to make it a little bit easier to find later. And now in features, we're going to start with a board view. Board view is great because it's pretty well connected to the board, just at least conceptually. All our features, of course, can access boards, but it's good to get started with because it's just a little bit easier to wrap your head around. And I'm going to call this my risk or sales prioritization chart. Prioritization chart. And once I have added a name to this, 2 more steps, we need to add my deployment. Add our settings. We're gonna add a column settings. Now this is explained in my other video if you want to learn a little bit more about how this app works. But we're gonna just dive right into it. I'm gonna add the numbers column here. Make sure you hit save. And then finally, we're gonna go to the OAuth section and we're gonna add the board's read scope. This way the app can access boards from my account. Now I'm going to just go back to my deals board. I'm going to hit refresh and I'm going to add my app now. So I click add view, apps, and then sales prioritization chart. And it says there's no deal column selected. So let me just select that here and the data gets populated right here. Now, this is the bare bones app, what you can access right now. I don't love it. There's some stuff here that I think is not great UI. Firstly, this is supposed to prioritize risk, but it really just gives me an XY chart. It doesn't really tell me what I should be prioritizing. You know, it's really up to the user to interpret. So I'd like to add a little bit more visual clarity to this. This visual clarity to this chart. So let's go ahead and do that first. I'm going to go and inspect the code here. And app.tsx, it generates some chart data. If you scroll down, you can see chart data. It generates this from the item data that it's getting from the API. And then it passes that along to a component called account risk chart, which actually just does the rendering. In this case, what I'd like to do is actually add some quadrants to this chart so that it becomes an XY or a 2x2 matrix. This way, we can at least say like, okay, the items in this quadrant should be more prioritized because they are risky, but they're also high value. And the ones in this quadrant, you shouldn't really worry about them because they're risky, but they're low value, maybe more effort than they're worth. And then down here, these are ones that we want to, these are kind of quick wins, low effort. Let's just make it happen. So I'm going to add some quadrants here, just some basically like colored overlays. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is all in the account risk chart component. Let me go open that up. And the risk chart uses recharts, and it has a Cartesian grid, y-axis, x-axis, z-axis, and then some tooltips. So yeah. Now let me go into recharts. And I will want to implement a reference area. This reference area basically highlights a section of the chart. So let me go ahead and start by doing that. And I can hard code some values to begin with, and then we can work from there. So I'm going to actually say, okay, so out of all the quadrants, we want to say that low deal value and high risk are things that we want to deprioritize. So let's highlight that section first. Excuse me. The reference area, it takes X and Y coordinates, like a start and end. And so in this case, why don't we just put it for 0 to 40K to start with? And where do I put this? After scatter. It takes X1, X2, Y1, what will this be? X1 was going to be 0 to 40, let's say. X1 is 0, X2 is 40, and then Y1 is, I don't know, 4 to 8. Yeah, 4 to 8. Okay, and then I hit save, and let me just reload this. Okay, there's no reference area that has appeared. I wonder why. I'll add these strokes. Go ahead and see if that helps. Oh, maybe there should be 40,000. Yeah, there we go. Nope. Is the 40,000 what did it? Yes. Okay, so there we go. And now we can add a label. Let's see what this label looks like. Okay. So now I have this reference area to deprioritize these items, but it's in front of the data, which is not very nice. So So let me go ahead and put it behind the scatter. There we go. So now it's sitting in between these two places. And let's keep the stroke red. I'm gonna add another reference area for the top right. And this is gonna be basically like our places where we need to invest, because these are deals which are pretty high value, but they're also high risk. So we need to take care of them. So we'll start at 40,000 and we'll end at 160,000. And it'll be the same y-axis. And we should change the title to invest. Great. Awesome. So now I've got these two sections. Maybe I can change the fill. Or just okay, good. Add some opacity to this. Ooh. Let me do the same. And let me add two more reference areas right here. So these are like our quick wins. And then these are our ideals. These are low risk and high deal value, right? These are great. Oops, oh, I didn't change the. Now on the y-axis, I'm gonna make these 0 to 4. Oh. And then the quick wins will be 0 to 40,000. Okay, great. So now I have these four axes. Tells me a little bit more about the data in here, but it's still very busy. I think I am going to, let's see. Let me put the label in the top left. It changes this from deprioritized to drop, and the position will be inside top left. Oops. Okay, now at least I have that in there. This one will be in the top right. So I'm just going to take the same thing. Okay, so now all of these are there. Invest is going to be in the top right. Think like that? Yes. Okay, so now we have all this data like this. And then the last thing I'm going to do is we'll make the words of the actual items a bit smaller, the labels of the items a bit smaller. How do I do that? Data key, item name, position, bottom. What does label list have? Does it have a size? Some CSS for this? I don't think so. Let's create some. Let's highlight this. I don't know. Recharts label. Let's try this. Ah, there we go. Done. So now these are a little bit smaller. Ooh, here. Okay. I'm gonna call this class then, what is it? Data point label. Work? Yes, great. Okay, so now the data points are a bit smaller, and then these are a bit bigger, which is nice. And I think that's all I'm going to do for now. This adds a little bit of visual clarity. Of course, this could be a lot better. I could add a little bit of padding here. I could actually get this data. Actually, no, there's one more thing I want to do. All right, so so far we have added some visual clarity to this view, but those values are still hard coded. Excuse me. I'm still just kind of I just randomly chose 4 and 40 as our halfway points. I think what we need to do is get this data programmatically, and so what we need is the bottom, top, and middle of each of these ranges, the range of the domain. And I don't believe recharts allows us to do that on its own. And so we need to use a a small function for it. Yeah. Okay. So where's our props? Here. Okay. Chart data is here. Let's do const okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say chart data. What does chart data look like? Okay, so the x-axis is deal value. So I'm going to say chart data dot map. Okay. Okay, I think this will do it. Oh. Okay, I think this will do it. What I'm doing is I'm just getting the minimum and maximum value of all the rows in the chart, and then dividing that by 2 to get the halfway point. Dividing the distance between the two for the halfway point, and then just returning that. Okay, it is a bit naive. Maybe I would want to use the median, but in this case, this is just good enough for now. I have some problems here. And then now I can add this to my reference area. This is xmin, this is xmid, xmid, xmax. And then let's see what happened. Seems like everything is just using xmax and xmid. Yeah, I think xmid is equal to xmax. Let's see what this looks like. Xmid is nan. Great. Okay, everything's undefined. Excellent. Oh. Ooh, this is not fun. At least I've got something. Okay, xmax is correct. It's up here. X minimum is not correct. Oh. Oh, it's because we cannot compare this to nulls. So we're gonna do var. This is annoying. Actually, okay, this typing is wrong. I think this typing is wrong because I can say, what are we? There, deal value is always a number. So this I can get rid of. Should be good. Okay, there we go. Fixed some type errors. There we go. Okay, now this gives me the halfway point. So it looks a little bit, it's more dynamic. And now let's do the same thing for Y. Y min, Y mid, Y max. See if I did it. Yes. Great. Y mid, Y max, Y mid, Y max. Oops. Oh, it's using deal value. Okay. Quick hack. Okay, there we go. Great. Now we have our quick wins, our ideals, what to invest, what to drop. Great. So now that we have a little bit more visual clarity here, of course I can update some of the CSS and make this a bit better. I want to do a couple more things. Okay, so this risk column currently gets data from the item timeline. So the CRM comes with a timeline, which essentially is a history of the activities that you have with a certain customer. Let's say you did 2 meetings, you did an in-person visit, maybe you sent them a couple of emails. All of that gets consolidated into what we call the timeline. And this app is retrieving the number of timeline items for each of these items. However, if you go to the deals board, you'll see that there's also a closed probability column, which which salespeople can basically add their best guess for how likely it is that this is going to close. And maybe I want to use this instead as the risk assessment on the left. And so for that, I want to add another column setting here. Okay, and that's for the risk column. So let me go back to my app. Let me go to features, and in view setup, I'm going to add another column. And I'm going to call this a risk column. I'm going to call this y-axis. And for column types, I'm going to say this should be a number column. And I'll say allow to clear selection, which means that if there's no risk column, then we'll use the number of timeline items. Okay, great. Now we'll hit done, and this one, let me rename this from just column to deal value column. And so now let me save this, and I'll go back here and I'll hit refresh. And now you can see I have two columns here, risk and deal value. And when I click this, it doesn't do anything. I should be able to select close probability here. It's because we're not actually retrieving this in the app. And so what I'll now need to do in the app is get the value of this column and use it in the chart data. So let's go back here. Inside of app.tsx, I have this chart data variable, which basically like loops through the items on the board and pulls the relevant columns. In this case, okay, this is actually the useful piece. Deal value equals column values dot find. Here, deal value column. So I'll basically have to redo this, but instead of deal value, it's going to be, what is it called? Risk column. Okay, now what I need to do is this deal value column is actually the column that we're getting from the settings, and so let me go find that here. Here, deal value column equals calls is here. I'll do the same thing. And this time, it'll be for y-axis. And let me just verify that it is indeed y-axis here. Yeah, it's called y-axis. Okay, good. So I'm just accessing y-axis, making sure it's legit, and then here I'm going to put risk column value, risk value, risk column metadata. I'm going to add these. And then down here, where did we add this here? Okay, so we're going to initialize this as null, and then we're going to say if risk column is not undefined, then we do this step, which is risk from column equals, we will find the item column values. And then I can say riskiness equals risk from column. If it's undefined, then use the timeline count, and if that's undefined, then use 0. Is that the problem? No. Oh, it should be undefined, not null. Great. And this should work. I think there's some error handling that I haven't handled yet, but for the purpose of the demonstration, we should be good to go. Okay. So now that I've added this setting, I should be able to put close probability, and it fails. Let's see what happens. No error here. Oh, I should remove that console log. Okay. Okay, we're just gonna add this here. Let's see. Okay, so this is returning some data. Now the problem is it's returning the actual object. It's not returning the item. There we go. Okay, so now we have, so let me explain what happened. What we are doing is we're returning data from the column values field that's returned by GraphQL. Okay, so in GraphQL, in the query, we are getting board items and we're getting column values. Okay, and for each column value, we're getting the ID, the text, and the value. the value and the type, okay? These 4 values, when they're returned as an object. And so column values.find is returning that object. In order to get the actual like text value from this, or the number from this, I have to access it with .text, okay? The reason this is not happening for deal value is because I'm actually doing that in this step, okay? Actually, it probably makes sense for me to do this in this step. No, it doesn't, because it needs to be undefined. Okay, so yeah, so that's why I have to access the .text so that I can actually get this information. And we'll actually play around with this a little bit more in a sec. Okay, so now I can get this close probability. That's great. I don't love that these overlap, but it is what it is. And then if I remove this close probability and I hit refresh, okay, this now gives it to me based on timelines. Great. And now that I added this dependency to it, there we go, this should update. Nice. Just to recap, we added a few features to our sales app. We added some visual clarity using these quadrants. We added the ability to select a column from the board rather than using activities if we want to. So I can select close probability and it'll pull that data up as well. We still want to do a couple more things. All right, so now that we've retrieved we've added some visual clarity, you now know how to access some data using the API. Let's cache this data. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. When I reload this app, you can see that these items are jumping up, right? And the reason they're jumping up is because they start off with 0 timelines, and then my app actually is retrieving these timelines one by one using the API. That takes a little bit of time, and so as this is loading, those things are jumping up. Instead, what I want to do is cache the values of chart data so that, excuse me, so that it stays in one place and maybe just refreshes at least just once instead of every single point jumping. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the Monday Storage API. So let me just go back to app.tsx, and chart data currently is stored as a variable. And it's memoized. So what I'll need to do is I'll need to add some more state to actually check if chart data exists in our store, and if not, then we'll need to get it. And we'll need to make this into a side effect because use memo is not really supposed to be used when retrieving data from another API, and in this case we'll be using our storage API, which means our app is gonna go make a HTTP request to get some data from a database. So let's add some state. Let's say const chart data set chart data equals use state null. Okay, so we're gonna set this as null to begin with, and then we're gonna say And chart data relies on, I'll look up what this state should be here in a sec, but until then, oh, I should do this. I'm just gonna use the dependency array from before, and then I'm going to move this here. Yes, great. This has a return in it, it should not. Okay. So now I have extracted this into some state. Let's just see if this works. Great. This does indeed work. Okay, so now that at least I've set this, I can then start to create this cache. Okay, so I'm gonna set another effect called has chart cache, or is chart cached. Set is chart cached. And I'm just going to say should I put this inside the effect or outside the effect? I'm setting the chart data here. Is chart from cache. Okay, so okay, actually what I'm going to do is just create two chart data states, and I'm going to say Monday dot, okay, so now I'll need to use the Monday API, Monday SDK. I don't believe this uses it right now, and so I will need to actually initialize this. Oh, you know what? This hook uses it. So let me go to the hook and see. Okay, here. So I need to import it. So we're just going to do import Monday SDK from Monday SDK.js. And then we're going to say const Monday equals Monday SDK. Right? Yes. Okay. So now that we've got this SDK, this library initialized, I'm going to go back to where I was before if I can find it. La la la. Where did we go? Here. No. Where's my chart data gone? Here. Okay, and we're gonna say Monday. Oh, const or async function. This is gonna have to be asynchronous. Get data from storage. And this is going to be, we're gonna say, so this takes, here, dot get item, and the key is going to be cached data. And I also need to set this. So if data, I'm going to do okay, so we're gonna cache this and we're gonna set this. I don't know if I need to do this one after the other. Actually, don't need to do it one after the other. Okay. Now that I've set this up, let me just actually set this here. And then I've forgotten the syntax for making a async call inside of a effect. So let me quickly check that. Up here, it should be there somewhere. Here, fetch items from board. Here. It should be an anonymous function, and then we do this. Okay. So here. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. So now, let me inspect this. Whoa, that's fun. There's a loop here. Okay, good. I should move this. Where's my loop? First, let me see if the loop is caused by this effect. I'm gonna comment these out. Then we're gonna go back here. I'm gonna hit inspect. I'm gonna see if it does the same thing. Yes, it does. So the loop is caused by something else. Let me remove risk column here. And reload this. Yeah, this is a loop. I probably added it here. What is going on and on and on? Did I change anything else? Oh. Jeez. Okay, let's now say that we only run that if the chart data length changes. Nope. Well, well, well. Maybe this is why. I don't remember if use memo needs to use a const or a blocker. That shouldn't change anything. Okay, one easy way to fix this is to just see if this means anything. Oh, it has nothing to do with this XY. So this has been here for this whole time? I'm not sure. Oh, this started when this effect was introduced. Okay. Okay. So this does render every single time. Oh. The side effect should only be to get data from storage. All right. So I went in, I undid some stuff, and now this should work again. Okay. Just double check. Great. Okay, so so now I have to do two things. I have to send chart data to the Monday storage. So I can do that by doing set data in set chart data in storage. Set item cached data json.stringify chart data. Oh. Okay, so this needs to be set before or after here. Okay, so this has set the data, and then this sets the data to, okay. Okay, this is causing a little cascade of items. Okay. I need to debounce set data. Then I'm just going to say here. So debouncing this will mean that I'm only setting data once in X number of times. Okay. Okay, I've forgotten how to use debounce, but it should be, where did we go? I scrolled up, I should not have scrolled up. Okay, here. Nope, low dash debounce. I don't know why I opened this. Here, this is all out. Yeah, it creates a debounced function. So I will say equals debounce. Oh, I actually already have this. And then we're going to debounce this so it only does it once every second. And then I'm just going to invoke this one. Every second? Yeah, every second. So now, if I hit inspect, clear this console. Oh. clear the console. Set data still gets called all of this time. Oh, because it's being handled by this. React is invoking this a lot. Debounce, use effect. Aha. I need to use callback. Great. So now this should actually work. Whoa. Okay. Chart data is getting pushed this many times. And then set data is also getting still called once for every chart data update, which happens the number of times there's items on this board. This is in milliseconds? Yes. Maybe this shouldn't have a dependency in it. Hey, I think this worked. Great. It's only setting the data once. Perfect. And so now what I can do is now I'm going to type error because this, yes. This is all my data. Okay. I'm gonna add a quick type. Version is a string. What does set response have? Go to type definition. Oh, the data has this in it, okay. No. Go to type definition. Oh, data has a value. Oh, that's why. Well, this is happening because I am trying to do this in the set when I should be doing it in the get. Okay. Here, gets data from storage, and then set chart data from cache data. Or response. I'm gonna call this response because this indeed has a get response data has value. And version is a string. There we go. Okay. So now I am setting the chart data from cache, and then we're gonna say if this is not undefined, then we're gonna do that. Where am I initializing data here? Oh, this is going to be an early return. How do I do this? Chart data should be this, the cached value, and then when it becomes no, I should take this out into the component. Okay. So now I need to make sure that when the chart data comes, I can set it here. What's the best way to do that? What happens if I do that? If I make this nan, then maybe it will not show up. Nope, it's become 0. Okay, so in that case, what I want to do is maybe count. Okay, so you know what? I'm not gonna get this from the chart data section. Instead, there's another state called timelines, which actually controls all the different timelines for each event. And what I can do is set the timelines instead. Okay, so this timeline state has a list of items and a list of timelines. And so we can say that if the list of items is greater than the list of timelines, it means that everything hasn't loaded yet. So I can add another line here that says const has all timelines loaded equals, and it should be true if the number of items is equal to the number of timelines. Okay, so timelines dot items dot length equals, put some brackets, timelines dot timelines dot so timelines is an object which means that I should see how many keys there are. It's like object keys. Is there just, here. And then what I can do is this. And this is totally broken. Yay, good. This actually helps. Okay. Cannot read property of null. Oh, you know what? Need to make sure that everything is loaded. Yes, I meant to call this expression. Oh, it's a function. Da, 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 da. Bar. This doesn't actually do anything anymore for the else. Okay, now have a look. Oh. I have JSON stringified to this. I'm getting chart data.map is not a function because chart data is a string. So I need to JSON.parse this. Hey, great. And now I can test if this works by changing the number of timelines. Let me give Akira Tanaka one more. Akira Tanaka. Let me just add one more timeline to the activity. Let me add a meeting. No, wait. Yeah, Akira Tanaka went up one, I think. Forgot to look at how many there were. Okay, Theo Jameson. It was going to go from 6 to 7. Okay, let's search Theo Jameson, and then I'm going to go add a meeting. This is just a meeting. And now when I go to sales prioritization chart, I should see Theo Jameson jump. 6. There we go. Okay, so we saw Theo Jameson and Akira Tanaka move, and then if I reload the frame, those numbers should be up. Ah, they are not, because I am not setting the chart data correctly. Should be debounced. Okay, I believe the problem here is that when I'm setting the data right at the start, and then it's taking, and then I'm not setting it again at the end. Let me reload this frame and let me see what happens. Oh, we are setting the data at the end, so I don't know what's going on. Is Theo Jameson up there? No. Oh, it says bad request. Okay, I need to try this again because it seems like my set data is a bad request, and I don't know why. I'm making a lot of API calls, and then at some point, here, this is the bad request. App storage, error missing value. Okay, so let's see. Okay, let me just log this error, and then we can at least see what's going on. Looks fine now. Weird. Okay, it said no value, which kind of implies that we're not setting any data. So let me make sure that this JSON stringify actually returns something. Type check or null check, and let's see. Oh, seems to work. Okay, what we're now going to do is update Priya Desai from 5 to 6, just to check this one more time. So I go into the deal value, go into the deal view, I click add activity, and I add hello world. And then if I go back to my sales chart, Priya Desai should move up. There we go. And now if I reload the frame, Priya Desai should be at 6. Nope. Oh. Because I'm only setting the data. I should really be setting the data once everything is updated. So, should be here. Okay, great. So this should be working now because I just changed the state, changed the dependency to be based on when the timelines change, as opposed to when the timelines are all loaded, as opposed to just when the chart data changes, which fires off a lot of times, and that is interfering with the fact that the function is debounced. So unless it as long as the app loads in about 1 second, then we'll have this problem. So let me test this one more time. I'm going to take, let's see, tag Dameron. And I'm going to add an activity. I'm going to add a meeting. And then if I go here, tag Dameron should jump up. And then when I hit refresh, they should, wait, tag Dameron jumps up, great. And when I reload, tag Dameron should be up there. So we know that this is updated data. It is not updated data. Okay, it's not setting the data at all. Okay. Said missing value. It still says missing value. I think I need to inspect this chart data JSON. Okay, I'm going to reload this frame. We're going to see what happens. Here, set data. See, chart data is undefined. Why the heck is it undefined? Probably has something to do with use memo. Oh. I believe it's because this, no, you know what? This should, no, this is wrong. I'm gonna actually just pass this to here, and then we're going to say use effect chart data. Great. There we go. Okay. Now let me reload my frame, and tag Dameron should be up. And I should not get any errors. Oh nope, I now have so many errors. Some rate limit has passed. Okay, I was probably hitting refresh a few too many times, but let me just verify this. I'm gonna hit refresh one more time. Okay, tag Dameron is there, and this runs like 35 times, which makes sense to me. Okay, so what have we done today? We took our sample app, we added our quadrants using the ReferenceArea component. We then started loading this data. Oh, we then added a settings column for risk column. So now I can change the data here and it'll update accordingly. And then finally, we cached the data that we're getting from the API so that we can access it, so that we can improve the performance of our application. These are tools that I really recommend using when you're building your app for the CRM, and they also apply for any other apps that you're building for the Monday platform. All right. So now that we have made some changes to our board view and really played around with it, added some new features to it, I want to now bundle this in another part of the platform. The really great thing about Monday is you can create one app and display it to users across lots of different real estate inside of the Monday system. And what I'm gonna do now is bundle my app as a item view. Okay, what an item view will let me do is see this data on the one item level. Okay, so to do that, I'm gonna go back to the main table and I'm gonna click on an item. And you can see that this deal summary comes up, and I can add an item view to this section right here, okay? Currently, my app is a board view, so I won't see it in this list, but I can add that feature and then it'll be available. So let me do that right now. Go to the feature section, hit create feature, look for item view. And I'm gonna start from scratch. And just like before, I'm gonna add those two columns to the board, deal value, which will be the x-axis. And let's make sure that this column type is a number. And one more, risk, which will be a number as well. And we're going to call this y-axis. And the data that gets passed to my app may be a little bit different with the item view. I need to check. But if not, it may just work as expected. And we don't have to do anything. Okay, now let's grab our custom URL and let's paste it in as a deployment. And finally, I'm going to change this to risk assessment. Deal risk assessment. Okay, now that I've saved that, I can go back to my item. I'm going to hit refresh, and I am going to add this item view. And if I go to the development app section, I can see deal risk assessment right here. And when I add it, it's going to pop up, and you can see it's rendering just like the other board. And now when I click on settings, I can choose deal value here, and my app is rendered right here, and it's rendered pretty well. I think if I'm to bundle this as an item view, the issue here is that Devon Singh, which is this specific item, is not highlighted in any way. So I'd like to highlight that. To do that, I'm actually going to go into my chart data, and I'm going to update that. Each of these item views actually comes with, it'll tell you, like our app context will tell you what item you're connected to. And so if I go into my app, there's a set context field here, somewhere here. Okay, if it's not loading anymore, then let's log it. So you can just see what data is coming with this, okay? This is a lot. Okay, they're done. Oh, no. There's, okay, done. Oh, no. Okay. I can see what this has. And you can see the app context contains a lot of different data, and it includes the item ID over here. Okay, so it'll be context.data.itemID. And so what I can do is I can say, okay, I'm going to delete this now. In the chart data section, maybe I can set 2 rows or something like that. Okay, for this I need to go to recharts, and I need to see how can I color this. They have some examples. Scatter chart. Oh, 3 dimensions. Okay, nice. Okay, this has 2 scatters. Okay. Okay, so I think I will need to add another scatter, which means I'll need to add, I'll need to send multiple pieces of data to the risk chart, okay? So how do I do this? I can say chart data here. Oh, and then I can add another prop that says like current item, and I can make it optional. Selected item, and this will be a string, but it's optional. Okay, great. And what I will say is, right here, yeah. Okay, so now I have this context type. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add item ID to this context type. So let me just go inspect here one more time. Let me look at this context. One of these will be context. Oh God. There we go. App context data item ID. So I can over here I can add item ID string, and I can make this optional because it will not return with the board view. And so now I can say that, and then I'm going to pass current item to the is it called connect? Did I call it current item or selected item? Selected item. Oh, I think it's in an if statement, so. Okay, nothing is broken, good. Now I want to highlight the current item, so I will say in the account risk chart, actually I need to start by just like calculating the current item. No, this is going to be so inefficient. If I do it like this, then we're going to loop through chart data every time it updates, which means we're going to have a lot of different updates. Instead, I'm going to do it in here, and I'm going to say let's do current item ID. Okay, and then when I'm updating chart data, I will also update where is it here? Okay, I'm updating chart data. Okay, this is very hacky, but what I'm basically just doing is I'm setting something up such that I can at least render it, and then we'll go from there. Oh, this has to be chart data has to be an array, which means I'm just going to put this in here. Oh. Okay. Okay, and the last thing I have to do is actually move this in such a way so that Devon Singh does not actually end up, or whoever the selected item is, does not end up inside of the full chart data. And finally, I'm just gonna add a console log to make sure that we're actually doing what we need to do. Okay, we're never in here. Why are we never in here? Because where is the current item ID? All right, cut. All right, so this is how you actually add your app to an item view. And of course, there's a lot more you can do here. For example, if you wanted to highlight the current item, you could do that. If you wanted to instead show not all the items, but only the current item and the data from that, you can set that up as well. So there's a lot of different steps you can take to actually make this, to really tailor this to the context of the what the user is seeing. But at least in this case, we can just take the data that we have, we can take the app that we have, we can bundle it in a couple of different places, and we can just start, right? And at least this gives a little bit of value to the user. So yeah, there you have it. This was a really long demo. I hope you watched the whole thing. I hope you got a little bit of value out of it and you enjoyed it. I will put the final version of this code on GitHub as well, and I'll add that to the video description so you have access to that as well. And you should be good to go. Thank you again. This was Dipro, and have a good rest of your day. Cheers.